Hi, my name is Eileen Martindale, and I am a career counselor at the SIUE Career Development Center. Today, I am going to be talking about resume writing and how to build a resume that works for you. So what is a resume? Essentially, a resume is a marketing tool or your first impression to a potential employer. A resume is designed to catch an employer's eye and interest so that they want to move forward with you in their hiring process. A resume should tell your story. So what type of education and training, experience, skills, and abilities can you bring to a potential employer and position? Unfortunately, it takes you a lot longer to create a resume than an employer actually reviews this. We call this the 6 seconds of fame. So, on average, job titles, company names, start and end dates, education, an employer will only review for about 1 second. But the overall impression, the design, the organization of your resume, an employer will review for about 2 seconds. So you want to make sure that your organization and style of resume is well put together and will stand out. So there are a lot of ways to format your resume and organize the information on your resume, but you want to make sure that you choose one that works for you. There are a lot of sample resumes on our website, siue.edu/Career Development Center, and click on the Resources and Downloads tab. There you will find sample resumes listed by both major and the style of the resume. Let's talk about 2 of the most common types used. The chronological resume is probably the most common type of resume because it is the most widely accepted style accepted by online applicant tracking system. So this format lists your education and experience in reverse chronological order, starting with the most recent at the top and then descending down from there. The functional style resume presents your skills and experience by putting them in an order based on the experience and the functions that you have performed, not exactly a date order. The design. The design is so critical in creating a successful style of resume. Use an easy-to-read font. Arial, Calibri are great and simple fonts to use. Your name should be big and bold at the top of the page. And if you'd like, you can use caps, bold, or italics to highlight certain areas or subheadings on your resume. But don't overdo it because that could be distracting. Balance the white space. If you look at the sample resumes or the handout in front of you, you will be able to see that the information is on both sides of the page, utilizing both the right and left side of the document. This helps the resume be consistent and clear. If you are a current or recent college graduate, you want it to limit your resume to 1 page only. If you feel like you need to go to that second page, you should have enough relevant experience to fill up most of that second page. Print your resume on high-quality paper or resume paper. Your heading should be your personal contact information, including your name. The name listed on your resume should match any formal documentation or employment application materials. If you go by, for example, Susie, but your legal name is Susan, you should include Susan on your resume. The address listed on your resume should be an address that an employer can send mail directly to you. Your phone number that you list on your resume should have a voice message that is set up and identifies who you are, and of course, is professional and appropriate. Your email. Feel free to use your SIUE email address. That's fine. If you choose to use a Gmail account, make sure it ties to your actual name. For example, bballgirl29@gmail.com doesn't tell the employer who you are. If you check your LinkedIn profile regularly or have a blog and your blog is appropriate and relevant to the career path that you want to pursue, feel free to include these links on your contact information. Here are some sample headings. As you can see, the name is big and bold, easy to read. The second example is a great way to conserve some space on a resume. Your education. Your education, especially when you are a current or recent graduate, should be listed at the top of your resume. You should include your school name. Never abbreviate your school name. So for example, if you're attending SIUE, you would want to list Southern Illinois University Edwardsville, not SIUE. You could include SIUE in parentheses after Southern Illinois University Edwardsville, so you don't have to spell it out throughout the rest of the document. The location of school, the city and state, your degree. Again, do not use abbreviations. So if you're pursuing a Bachelor of Science, do not include BS. Bachelor of Science, Master of Arts, do not include abbreviations. If you have a minor, feel free to list that under your major, the month and the year of your anticipated graduation date. Not when you started. Every student has a different timeline of graduation, so you want to make sure that you include when you expect to graduate. If you have any study abroad experience or scholarships, you can list it under this section. Your GPA. I always encourage students who have a 3.0 or higher to list their GPA, but if you are an accounting student, it is required to have your GPA listed on your resume. You want to make sure that your education is listed in reverse chronological order, meaning the most recent at the top. So if you are a transfer student and earned an associate degree before attending SIUE, you would still want to list SIUE first because it is your most recent education experience. But please include your associate's degree below. Same thing for graduate and undergraduate studies. Here are some examples, a sample of education listed on a resume. As you can see, both sides of the page are being utilized, both the left and the right side. City and state on the right, and also the dates on the right, and then major and institution on the left. This will be consistent with your employment information as well. Academics are a great way to create some relevancy within your resume, especially if you have limited experience. You can include some relevant coursework as long as it's higher level courses that are completed within your major of study. Write out the course name, not the acronym. So make sure that you are not using abbreviations when it comes to your relevant coursework. And again, make sure that your coursework is relevant to your major. So you want to stand out. Do not include classes like English because most students take English courses. You can also include academic experiences or accomplishments such as group projects, research, presentations. Here's some examples. So as you can see, these examples show a context of the group projects or the presentations delivered, what they found, what the results were. You can see the term is also listed. Experience. So this is going to be the bulk of your resume, and it's an important part of your resume. Your experience can include both full-time and part-time jobs, internship and co-ops, if able, student teaching and clinical experience, class and research projects, and then also certain types of long-term volunteer work. If you only volunteered for an hour one Saturday afternoon, you do not want to include that on your resume, but rather long-term or consistent regular volunteer projects. You must include your position title, the employer or the organization that you worked for, the city and state, the start and end date of employment by using the month and the year, and the description of your work when using bullet point statements. Also, present your information, again, in reverse chronological order, starting with the most recent. When creating those bullet points, you want to make sure that your bullet points are accomplish-driven, not just task-driven. You don't want to just list the duties that you had, but highlight some key accomplishments and skills that you gained while in that position. Use action verbs. In our resources and downloads tab on our website, we do have a handout that describes action verbs and lists them. This is a great way to get started on your bullet points because every bullet point should begin with an action verb. Watch your tense. Make sure that you use past tense for previous jobs and present tense for current jobs. So for example, if your action verb was communicate, that would be a present tense. If it was for a previous position, you would want to use communicated. And also, never use I, my, our, or narrative, first person narrative tense. Here is some sample experience. Again, you can see that both sides of the page are being utilized, and the person does a great job of using quantifiable skills where they can, by using numbers to show a little bit more context to the employer. Other categories that can be included: computer or technical skills as they relate to the position or the organization that you're applying for, any professional development, conferences, training, community involvement, activities, and leadership positions for on-campus organizations. If you're in a professional affiliation, this is a great way, again, to create relevancy on your resume or connect your experience as a student to the career field that you are wanting to pursue. If you have any publications, presentations, research, or lab experience, you can include that on your resume if it's relevant. If you list a language, make sure you let the employer know your proficiency level. Any honors, awards, scholarships, any experience abroad can also be listed. Here are some samples of these optional categories if you should have this experience. These are just samples, so you can rename these subcategories. If you have any questions about that, you can contact the Career Development Center to think of some other ways to describe your experience within these optional categories. I hope this presentation today has given you a good idea of how to start your resume. If you already have a resume and want it reviewed, you could email the Career Development Center for a resume critique or come in to meet with a career counselor for a resume critique. If you're having trouble starting your resume and want to get started with a career counselor, come to the Career Development Center today and make a resume development appointment.